really wish I could. Recording in progress. Got it. Hi, everybody. I wish I could have come up in person when Christina asked me about this. I said I have opera rehearsal until 6 o'clock, so I was not going to be able to speed up there and get to you in time. Um, but I'm really happy to be with you. It's going to be interesting. I was telling Nick that for a year we taught online like this, and I did 2 opera productions like this, and we did rehearsals like this, and I would unmute different boxes and hear them, and the others would sing along with those people, and and then for error detection, then I'd have mute and somebody else sing. I don't see myself doing that to you tonight. I see some faces going, thank God. Um, so as far as the pacing of this goes, I'm going to be counting on the faces that I see in the boxes and the people going, slow down or got it. Okay, so I really appreciate the fact that number one, you guys have your cameras on so I can tell how you are doing. As Christina, I think, said in your email, I am not a Russian speaker. How I came to this was that when my first college teaching job in Indiana, I love Russian music. I've always loved Russian music. And I wanted to start singing some Rachmaninoff. So I listened to Dmitri Vorostovsky and I would sit and IPA it out myself and try to figure it out. And then I would go to the Russian teacher and he would help me refine it. When I moved here, then I met a wonderful pianist, Elena Panchenko, who speaks Russian but is actually Ukrainian. And then I did a sabbatical in Kiev in 2007 and was gifted a lot of music by the Ukrainian Conservatory, the Tchaikovsky Conservatory in Kiev. So I've been recording a lot of Ukrainian music for a CD that's coming out. A plug in there, but everything that I've learned has been through IPA and working through it. And so please, anybody on this screen have you sung Russian before? There's some hands. Do anybody here that's a native speaker that speaks Russian? So when Christina asked me, I said, I am not an expert, but I have worked a lot with it. So I'm going to do my best to help you get close there. I also sent a couple of YouTube links to Christina with some native speakers reading through the text, and that may help you as well. But hopefully here I can give you talk slow enough and help you to work through the text. My understanding is that what I had sent Christina, she was asking about it, and to be honest, the last week was traveling across the United States, driving across from Virginia to here. So before I left, I had IPA'd it out, and then I sent it to my friend who is my checker, Elena Panchenko, and she sent some corrections, and those turned up in red. But I'm not sure what Christina gave you, whether your paper has the little corrections that she made in there. So I'm just there. What you've got is my handwriting, and that's great. But I don't know if there's little, so I'm going to go through the few corrections that she made. I was happy to see that I didn't mess it up too badly. There are some vowels that are a little nebulous, and so we tend to go for an ah sound. And so a couple of those things may have changed. So just to clean up what you have on there and any little errors, I'd like to go through the IPA on the page. So if you go to in the section A, go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go down to the line that is Niegai Vozduch Polan. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth line down. You should have VOZDUX. Did that correction show up on your page? It did. Great. And then POLAN. Great. Then you should have those. There were 2 that even Elena and we were reading through it backstage at opera rehearsal tonight, and there were 2 that we both missed. So if you would go to letter F, the second word, piesny. There should be an S in there. PJES. Piesny. And then in letter P, in section P, go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the 4th line. E salovyi. So it should be SALOV J glide and then the hardened I, the I with the little cross. Okay. I'm seeing some nods. Is everybody catching me there? I see a question. Please unmute at any time and yell at me. Kathy?
Okay. ISALOV.
So
And
we
then
What
have,
letter?
yes.
Oh, it was in P or V. No, in P. In P. The last thing you said, it's ISA instead of SO.
Right.
And then what?
LOV, and then add a J glide into that before the I that looks like it has a little cross on it.
Oh, all right.
Okay. And then I'll explain what that I with the little cross is. So
the
yes,
J,
the O, so the O should be an A, and then the J comes between the V and the I.
got it. All right.
Okay. Great. This will work, guys. If you let me know if I speak too fast or I'm unclear. Okay. Kathy, I saw your hand maybe going up at one point. I got it. Okay.
And is there any in that line that needed to be remediated?
You cut out a little bit there. Could you repeat that, please?
So in the ISALOVJ I
Yes.
line, is there anything else that needs to be fixed?
If you've got Zelioni, if you've got an O in there, then that's correct.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Somebody else have a question? Okay. Well, this is going to work, guys. All right. So we're going to go back then to the beginning, to letter A. And there are times in your music, I went in and was putting it into your music, and I'm assuming that's what Christina will want you to do, is to add it into your own individual part. And there are times that you will be singing part of a line and not all of the text, but you can then find the words. There are some in here that only the altos sing, for instance, or only the sopranos sing, but I'm just going to go through it all with everybody. Okay? All right. So a couple of sounds that we want to look at. The I with the little line through it, it's called a hard I, hard E. And the best way that Elena explains it is to add the glide W before it, oui. So it's like French oui in a way. So you've got in letter A, let me see if we've got a word. Yeah. So the second line, you have an I with a little a cross in it. That would be tuive, tuive, instead of just tive, tuive. So anytime you see that I, then you can add a little W glide in there if you would like, but that I with the cross. Okay? Tuive. The X sound is for KHs or KHs, and that's just like you've sung German, I know, right? So that's the sound, that fricative. Sometimes it will come after a tongue vowel, so your tongue is nice and high, like in ich, and you can blow air over your tongue. It should never be guttural in German or in Russian. It's not guttural. So you're going to have that tongue high and you blow air over it. Some vowels don't have tongue involvement, like an A or an O. And so you're going to have to create a little arc in your tongue so that you get something to create some friction with, like in ach, ach. Try that. Ach, but again, don't go ach. None of that, okay? So ach. Now, one word that you'll say a lot is chan, chan. So it's Khan, chan. And you'll say that word a lot, Khan. So that's what the X symbol is for IPA. For your R's, you'll just flip them. Okay. Then there are some vowels that will have a tilde or a little wavy line over them. You'll see that. And for them, I think that I caught all of those, but those have that J glide in front of them. So for instance, your very first line, you have ulietai, ulie. So you're going to put the J glide before that open E. Ulietai na kryljach vietra. So you can see where that little tilde is over the vowel. There we're going to be adding that little glide, a little y sound, vietra. Okay? What
So
was
the
yes,
so the J's are pronounced like a Y, like a
like a y, yeah, like a Y and yes.
okay.
Well, it's the IPA symbol for y. So if it's easier for you to think of it that way, y. Or it's a shortened intensified E sound. Y. Vietra. And that's great. There are varying levels of understanding of IPA, I'm sure, in here. So I'm gonna try and explain what some of those symbols are. Because how do you write the sound shh? In IPA, it's a long S, elongated snake S is the sh sound, different than just a regular S that's s. But most IPA International Phonetic Alphabet symbols are what you'd expect them to be. Okay? There's one that looks like a script Z, and that's the zh sound. And I think we see that in here sometimes. But most of the letters are what you'd expect them to be. Okay? In diphthongs, when you have diphthongs, sometimes there'll be words that will have the J glide at the end, the y sound, I. You're just going to stay and sustain that ah sound until the cutoff. And Christina will tell you, I. All right, so don't go I, just as in any other thing, you wouldn't do that with a diphthong. So those are some of the ground rules I thought I would give you first. And I'm loving your faces because I can see this or that will help me. I teach a church choir, and of course, for this is all we see. So I'm getting really good at reading eyes. Oh, all right. So let's dive in then to
And so just one more thing.
do that.
I'm not unclear with the X, like in A, the sixth line down, the ABLAKAX, what is the X sound?
I'm trying to find the word that you're finding in letter A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vozduch. So it's friction.
No, the OBLAKH in
Oh, ablakach.
it goes to ABAKAX in
Yeah.
line 8.
Yeah. Ablakach. So if you go say an ah and then bring your tongue up to create friction with your hard palate. Ah. Everybody do that in your privacy of your home. If you've got a cat, create that hiss sound. So you have to raise your tongue to create friction over your tongue with your hard palate. If the vowel is one where you don't have your tongue in use, like an ah or an o, you have to bring the tongue up. If the tongue is already up for a vowel, like E, you can feel your tongue is already arced, then you just blow air over the top of your tongue, E, and you get the friction. It's a little bit further back. It's almost with your soft palate, right? But you're creating friction. If you don't raise your tongue, then you will get the guttural or nothing at all. And there's just a lot of that X sound in here. So abla ka. Everybody say that. Abla ka. Feel it? Got it? Good questions all. And your German is going to get much better by doing that. Ich, doch, Sehnsucht, right? All of those wonderful CH sounds in German, they're going to get even better. Okay? So let's start with the first line, and I'm going to do one line at a time. I'm going to do it word for word and then try to get a little flow. Okay? So the first word is uliataina. Uliataina. Kriljach. Kriljach. Vietra. Janet, you might want to mute yourself unless you have a question. Great, thank you. So uliataina, kriljach, vietra. Then we've got that I, that hard Russian I. So we're going to say tviv, krai, radnoi. And it's just like saying a W sound in there. Tviv, krai, radnoi. Родная песня наша. And there you've got that elongated S that's the sh sound. Naша. Ти в край родной, родная песня наша. Okay. The next line is туда. Now this is fun. G, d together. Где, где, где. You're welcome. Где. Мы тебя свободно, свободно пели. I'm going to read that line again. Туда, где мы тебя свободно пели. Then we have that где again. Bila так привольно нам с тобою. How are we doing? I see you writing. We're doing okay? Not so scary, right? Not so bad.
How
Yes.
how do you pronounce the last word in the previous line? The
Pieli,
Pieli. Okay.
pieli.
Pieli.
Good.
Excuse me, do you pronounce the P? Pieli?
Yes. Pieli. Yep.
Thank you.
You pronounce
Thank you.
everything. It's not like French.
Okay,
Good
In
question.
the
thanks.
in the last line that we just went over, is the S, does it elide into the T?
Yeah. Nam s тобою. And when you look at the music, you'll kind of see where it's going to go. Just like in any language where they will hyphenate the words like a dictionary would, you end up moving the consonant over. And there are some floating consonants that will be in between words, and then you move them over. Like there's often a V, and it moves over. Okay, so staying on, just like in any language that you would sing, stay on that vowel, group the consonants together. Nam s тобою. Okay. Then the next
Can I-
line. Yes.
Did I hear that that hard I again? Is that what you're
Yes.
calling it?
So like in the second line, tweeve, tweeve. So if I said it really slow, tweeve, tweeve, tweeve. It's the hardest one that I've had to work on too. Tweeve. And I still don't, I'm not sure I get exactly right, but Elena said that's the best way to teach it. So going on, Tom pod znoi nim, znoi. So you've got z, znoi nim, niebom. Tom pod znoi nim, niebom. Niegai, vozduch. There's that lovely sound. Vozduch, Polan. You guys are all good students. I see you writing.
Question for you. So AJ is like an I,
A J,
AJ,
Yeah. guy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like it's a diphthong, I, and then the J comes at the end. Yeah, guy. And it would be similar if you just had the diphthong AI, right? And the I is really short at the end. Next line, Tom Pod Govar Moria. Tom Pod Govar Moria. The next one, Driemljut. So you have dur, and it's good to just sort of break it down, go dur, okay, Driem, or yem, Driemljut. You'll find that a lot of these words are easy to say, and then there'll be tongue twisters, right? Gorviv Ablakach. We got through A. Questions on A. Let's read it together from the beginning. I'll take it really slow. Yeah, Janet? You need to unmute. Did you have a question?
Mm.
Yeah. What's your question?
What happened to the L in the Drim Ute?
Driam Ute. It's there. Driam Ute. Ute.
Drim Ute.
Ute. Yeah. Sorry if I didn't say it clear enough. Driam Ute. Goriv Ablakach. Okay, great. So let's just read it slowly together and imagine that you hear each other. Here we go. Ulia taina kriljach vietra. Twiv kraj radnoj, radnaya pjesnja nasha. Tuda gdje mi tebja svobodna pjeli. Gdje bila tak privolna nam s тобою. Tam pod znojnim niebom. Niegaj vozduch polan. Tam pod govar morja. Drijemljut goriv ablakach. I'm seeing some nods. All right.
If we could have it, when we go through those, if you could do it just a wee bit slower, that would be very helpful.
All right. Do you want to read A again slowly?
Please.
All right. All right. We got the time. And you guys have the wine, I saw. All right, here we go. Ulietaina kriljach vietra. Tviv kraj radnoj, radnaya pjesnja nasha. Tuda gdje mi tebja svobodna pjeli. Gdje bila tak privolna nam s тобою. Tam pod znojnim niebom. Niegaj vozduch polan. Tam pod govar morja. Drijemljut goriv ablakach. Okay. And as we go along, you're going to find that there are words that repeat. So that'll be good. Loretta, did you have a question?
So the E with the little thing over it doesn't make any special sound?
So that E, then you'll notice that down below, it has a J glide, the Y sound in there. So rather than it just being drem, it's driem. Driem, yut. Okay, you bet. Good question. Hi, Jared. It's so fun to see a couple of my students on here. Hi, Melody. All right, so letter B. Letter B, here we go. Tam, tak, yarka, solnce. So you're going to say solnce, svietit. Sv, svie, svietit. Tam, tak, yarka, solnce, svietit. Radnija, gori, svietam, zalivaya. So that first word there, you've got that little I with the cross in it. Radnija, radnija, gori, svietam, zalivaya. Then the next one, you've got a V that goes into a D. Vdalinach, vdalinach, puishna, rozwi, ras, tayut. And that's a tricky one. Ras, tsvye. So divide it up, ras, tsvye, tayut. So the TS goes together, tss, tss, like tsitsi fly or pizza. Tsve, tsvye, ras, tsvye, tayut. Ras, tsvye, tayut. Okay. Oh, second here. I may not always see the, let me see the chat. Is there a rule for the O's, whether they are an ah sound or an O sound, that would make it intuitive to know which one the O would be just by looking at the word? No, Jared, those are the corrections that Elena gave me because I followed the rules. Just, well, they don't know why they would never sing it that way. So I don't, those are the things that Elena ends up correcting me. The O's that were A's or A's that were O's. There may be, but not that I'm aware of. And those are the ones that trick you up because normally you would look at it and go, oh, well, it's an ah. No, not always. All right. Let me see here. So we were at, yeah, going on. E salovyi, payut w lesach zelyonych. That's got some fun ones in it. E salovyi payut w lesach zelyonych. Now this line is for the altos. Tam roza cwie tiot. So you've got the cwie tiot. I sladki vinograd rastiot. You see some of these combinations of sounds are starting to become more familiar to you. You're going to impress all your friends. The sopranos that have a line tam tiebie privolnie piesnia. Tam ciebie privolnie piesnia. So before we turn the page on that, oh, we have one more line. So we have tui, tu da, I, ulietai. And that I, that letter I all by itself, it'll have its own pitch. So you aren't going to be eliding that into the die. So don't make it a diphthong. Tui, tu da, I, ulietai. So if we went back to the beginning of B, any questions in B that I can clarify before we read it together slowly? Okay, so let's read B together really slow here. Tam, tak, yarka, solnce, svietit. Radnia, gorwi, svietam, zalivaya. V dalinach, pyšna, rozwi, расцветают. И соловьи поют в лесах зеленых. Там роза цветет, и сладкий виноград растет. Там тебе привольней песня. Ты туда и улетай. Да? Da. All right. C is instrumental. So we're moving on to D. All right. Here we go. Pojcie. Pojcie. Pjesni slavi Chanu poj. So Chanu. Slavtie silu dobliest Chana Slav. I'm going to read those two lines again. Pojcie pjesni slavi Chanu poj. Slavtie silu dobliest Chana Slav. Now this next line you are going to sing a lot. So it'd be one I'd put on a card and put it in your car and say it a bunch. So too fast. Okay. Should Slavi have the hard E at the end since it has the two dots, or is that an exception? It's probably a miss for me. Yes, it should. Slavi. Yes, it should have. Thank you, Melody. Okay, let me go back. Was it on letter D? Let's go back and just slow that down a little bit. Pojcie, piesni, slawi, chanu, poj. Slavtie, silu, dobliest. Chana, slav. So then this next line is the one I was saying you're going to say a lot. Slavien Khan. Slavien on Khan Nash. I'm going to say that line again. Slavien Khan. Slavien on Khan Nash. The next word is blieskom, Slavi, Sonsu, Ravien Khan. Reading that line again. Blieskom, Slavi, Sonsu, Ravien Khan. Nie tu, Ravnuich, Slavoj, Khanu, Niet. We kind of know that word, right? Niet. All right, that's D. I'm going to go back now and read it slowly, all of us together. Here we go. Pojcie, piesni, slawi, chanu, poj. Slavtie, silu, dobliest, chana, slav. Slavien, chan. Slavien, on, chan, nash. Blieskom, slawi, sonsu, Ravien Khan. Nietu Ravnich Slavoj Khanu Niet.
Can I ask a question on the second to last line?
Yes.
Could you give us a slow version of the Russian word that's Solntsu? Do we say the L sound in there?
Yes. Sol. So, but like Sol, LN comes together. Solntsu. Sol. So the LN kind of go together. I'm trying to think of a word. Yeah. Sol. So say sol. Solntsu. Good question, Allison.
And how, in the last line, would you pronounce again Ravnich?
Yes. So it's Ravnix, that one. Rav nuich. Ich. So there your tongue's already up. So you can just blow air over the top.
Going back to that Solntsu, I see in the IPA that you actually like removed the L. So I don't know if it's different for singing.
In the IPA, did she remove the L?
Yeah, and also
Let me look
back
at first.
in B, the first line of B, it's also removed.
All right, let me just look here and see, because I thought I got all of her changes. Trying to look, where is it? On the Blescom, okay. Blescom. Oh, so she didn't remove it. Okay. All right. She erased some stuff, and so I didn't catch it. It was in the not in red. So let's get rid of the L then, and that'll make that easier. Sonsu. And the other one that she removed was in B, Jared.
Yeah, it was in B.
Okay.
Julie, what?
Julie,
what?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh. Julie, what line was that you took the L out? Where is that under D?
Okay. So, and I think in your music, in yours, the L's not on there. I'm working off of my original, and I thought I caught all of her changes, but I didn't know that she'd erased letters. I just got all the red. So you shouldn't have the L in there, Sonsu. So it shouldn't be a problem for you. It was just, I was trying to get you to do an L in there. So in D, it was the Blieskom Slavi Sonsu. So I think it was Allison that asked that question, and that's why she was confused, is because I was sticking an L in there. Okay, thank you for catching that. Sonsu. And then it's also in the first line of letter B, but again, you guys don't have the L in there anymore. So it's not an issue for you guys. Thanks, guys. All right, so any other questions on letter D?
Julie,
Yes.
the elongated S again, what does that sound?
Shh, like shh.
Shh. Okay, there's a
Yeah.
shh.
Shh.
Thank you.
You bet. You bet. Okay, we're getting, here we go. So now we're going on to letter E, which is really short. So the T and then the elongated S is the sound like a CH in our language, ch, like in church. So that word is chagi. Chagi, Hanna. Slavyat, Hanna. Svajevo. Chagi, Hanna. Slavyat, Hanna. Svajevo. Any questions on letter E?
Could you do that one more time, please?
Absolutely. Chagi, Hanna, Slavyat, Hanna, Svajevo. Good, Jennifer.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. So going on to letter F. Poitie, piesni. Now remember, this word is the one that needs that S added into that word. Piesni, Slavi, and that is another one of those that should have the line through the I so that we get that little glide in there. Slavi, Chanu, Poi. That line again. Poitie, piesni, Slavi, Chanu, Poi. The next line has a lot of S's in it. Slavtie. And then this is sh, shche, drost. So you've got the sh and the ch together. Shche, 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 shch, shchedrost, Slavtie, milost, Slav. Sure. Okay. Let's try that line again. Slavtie, shchedrost, Slavtie, milost, Slav. The next one, you're going to do a D and an L together. Dlia. And again, that's a combination we probably don't do. Dlia. Dl, 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 dl. Dlia. Vragov. Han. Grozien. On. Han. Nash. Dlia. Vragov. Han. Grozien. On. Han. Nash. Then we have another consonant cluster that I don't think that we do. Kt, kto, kto, je. So this is that script Z symbol that is like j, like in the word azure or asia. J, kto, je. Slavai, travien, hanu, kto. Jen is going, yeah, I'm getting this.
Hey, I think, sorry, on the, whoops, what line were we on? I don't think it's Travien, I think it's Ravien, because there's no T there.
Okay,
It was
we're-
erased.
Ah, yes, good, thank you. Again, I sent this and didn't get that. Okay, thank you. Kto je slavaj ravien hanu kto. Thank you. Then the last line is blieskam slavi and soncu, so no L, soncu ravien on. Did she erase that? Yep, good. So in letter F, questions before we go back and reread letter F?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
You just said Blieskam with an A, but
Anita.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines above that, I thought you said Blieskom with an O.
I'm looking at where you're at.
So line 4 of
Scum. Okay.
there's an O there, but then at the last line.
Yeah, she didn't catch it that up there. You guys are doing great because even with the two of us looking at this, there are things that we missed. So yes, blieskam, thank you. So go back to there at in D, blieskam, blieskam slavi. So that's in D, 1, 2, 3, 4th line down. And we both read through this again today, so sorry about that. Blieskam. So that we're consistent with that. And as she said, the A's and the O's sometimes are kind of vague. And so she's making some decisions. Letter F, then let's go back. Poitie, piesni, slavi, chanu, poi. Slavtie, szczedrost, slavtie, milost, slav. Dla vragov, han, grozien, on han nash. Kto je slavaj ravien chanu kto. Blieskam slavi soncu ravien on. Did we do all right? We're consistent? Yes, good. Letter K. Slavai diedam ravien chan nash. So you start to see some of these words repeating, right? And you say that one line throughout K. Slavai diedam ravien chan nash. Okay. The same thing now in letter L. Most of, if not all of these words you've seen before. Han Kanchak. Han Kanchak. And you will say that, that's his name. You'll say it a lot. Han Kanchak. The T, the elongated S, is your ch sound. Slavai diedam ravien on Grozny Han Kanchak. Slavien Han Kanchak. Okay, so we kind of went through K, L, and N there. Let's go back to K. Slavai diedam ravien Han nash. Letter L. Han Kanchak. Slavai diedam ravien on Grozny Han Kanchak. Letter N. Slavien Han Kanchak. How are we doing with those X sounds? Are we getting better? Okay. Are we good on those? Any questions or discrepancies that you can point out? Jessica, yeah.
Come on, there we go. Okay, in the second to the last line, the GROZN, could you, or ZIY, could you say it again for me?
Yes, and that has that hardened I in there, so we're going to put a little glide in there of nuit, and then the J glide at the end just sort of glides off. Nuit, gros nuit, gros nuit,
Grozny.
nuit. So if you want to do any of those really slowly, go ooey, ooey, oui, gros nuit, gros nuit. Other questions on K through N? Okay, great. Then let's go on to O. On O, it really repeats the text from A except for this one line. So you'll find your IPA for this in letter A, uletaya. And then this new line is kraj tot gdzie pod znojnym niebom. Kraj tot gdzie pod znojnym niebom. Should we say that again?
Hey, I think it's near bomb. I have an A instead of an O.
Yep. You guys are, thank you, because I apologize. I thought I caught all those. Niebom. Znojnym niebom. I'm trying to watch the IPA iPad here over where she made her changes.
Is
Niebom.
the
yes.
is the Znoj Neem, is it supposed to be a Nuim since it's got the double
Znojnym.
dot?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Znojnym.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet. So kraj tot gdzie pod znojnym niebom. Then
I'm sorry, could you tell me which measure you're looking at? I'm so sorry, I'm having a hard time finding it.
Okay, so let me find, I'm not looking at the music right now, but let me find it. Letter O. LMNO. This comes in on measure 384, and there's actually a V kraj tot. It's in the tenors, started out, tenors and bass in 384.
Thank you.
You bet. And it's just that one little place there that it's different than the other. Okay, great. Then you've
Julie,
had,
excuse me,
yes.
Julie, back on where we just did Zoe Nuim is
I'm sorry, can you tell me what line or what?
it's under O is the Z and O Y N I M. Is the Z pronounced?
Yes, zno.
No.
Znoj nim. Znoj nim. Sure, I got these. Okay, got those. All right, good. Then let's go on. So in P, again, it's you'll find the text in B, except for in the second line there's a new word, azaryaya. 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 And then there's some new text in there, starting with Vdalinach, Puishno, Rosa, Ras, Tzvie, Ta, Yet. So you have Ras, Tzvie, Ta, Yet. So break it up slowly. Ras, Tzvie, Tzv, Tzvie, Ta, Yet. Ras, Tzvie, Ta, Yet. So that's one of those words you'd probably want to say a bunch of times so you don't have to even think about it. And you develop muscle memory with it. Расцветает. So you've got в долинах пышно роза расцветает. E, let's see, and this one, she didn't fix this, but so your music, we talked about this at the very beginning, but in case you came in late, E salovi. So that O should be an A. E salovi poyut vlie sach zelyonih. Zelyonih. So that line is I salovi poyut vliesach zelyonih. The next line is Tam roza tam vsadach cvietiot. Cvietiot.
Do you mind explaining just a little briefly with these V's that aren't attached to a word?
Yes, so you'll add them as a consonant cluster, and usually they go to the next one. So tamsa, tamsa, tamvsa,
Thank you.
tamsadach. You bet. It's floating out there. So the same thing for vlie, vlie. Poyut vlie. So those are those little things that you'll want to do a bunch of times to build muscle memory in. Those are tricky. Where did we leave off? Okay. Sladký vinograd rastет. Vinograd rastет. Tam тебе привольней песня. Ты туда и улетай. And some of that is repetition. In this section in letter B, or letter P, sorry, the line Sladký vinograd rastет is sung by the altos and the tenors. The sopranos sing Tam тебе привольней песня. And the bass, and then later on the altos and tenors sing the Ты туда и улетай. So that's one example of where you may not have all of these words in your line. So if we go back to the third line of P, other than Azaryaya, you've got all the rest of that we've run, starting with V dalinach. So you're gonna vd, vdalinach, pishno, roza, расцветает. И соловьи поют в лесах зеленых. Там роза, там в садах цветет. Сладкий виноград растет. Там тебе привольней песня. Ты туда и улетай. Questions on P? Nobody's died yet, so that's good. We're all still smiling. We're doing good. Okay. So letter R, again, words that you've had before. So we come to these and go, yes, yes. Slavai, diedam, ravien, han, nash. Letter S, han, kan, chak. Slavai, diedam, ravien, on, Grozny Khan, Khan Kanchak. Slavyen Khan, Khan Kanchak. So R through U, a lot of repetition. Okay, we like that, Corliss, yeah. So let's go back to R. Slavai Diedam Ravien Khan Nash. Khan Kanchak. Slavai Diedam Ravien on Grozny Khan, Khan Kanchak. Slavyen Khan, Khan Kanchak. Letter V, Pliaskai, Vashe, Tieshtye, Khana. So there's a few extra or new words in there. So you've got Plia, Plia, Pliaskai, Vashe, Tieshtye, Khana. Pliaskai, Tieshtye, Khana, Chagi, Khana, Svayevo. And then Y and Z have all those same words in them. Pliaskai, Tieshtye, Khana, Chagi, Khana, Svayevo. And we've gotten to the end of all of that. With your help of catching me on those little things that Elena had fixed. Thank you. I am more than willing to stay on. It's 8 o'clock. I'm more than willing to stay on with anyone that would like to read for me, get extra help, have questions. You aren't going to hurt my feelings if you want to check out, but I'm willing to stay if people want to read for me or have questions.
I have a question.
Yeah, Maureen?
In letter V, the second word, could you please pronounce that?
Yes. Vashe.
Thank you.
You bet.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oops.
No, that's okay. I was gonna say, Grace, it was good to see your smiling
Okay, go
face.
ahead.
So, anybody that needs to check out, I'm fine. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that before. I'll stay, but I'll see everyone next week at Holy Names at 7 p.m.
Thank you, Grace.
Great, great.
A question.
Yes, Kathy.
I believe that Christina said she was going to have the recording available for us. Is that correct?
Yes, that will be on Course Connection.
Do you think we should bring discs or anything for her to record on, or has she got that taken care of?
No, I've been recording the meeting. So
okay, good.
All of this will be uploaded to, is it Chorus Connection, I think Grace said?
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
You'll get a link to the Zoom recording and it will be on Course Connection. I can also email it.
Great. Thank you very much.
Julie, would it help to do this rhythmically, like to the music and just pronounce it?
Well, that was something I was thinking about trying to do, but I couldn't tell if anybody, and I can't hear you. I don't know if you're ready to do that. We can certainly do that, but I won't be able to hear you. And there's different parts, but I'm willing to do that if people want to stay on and we go ahead and look at the music now because I have it written into the music. Would that be helpful?
I'm not going to do that.
So you won't hurt my feelings if that's not helpful, but if it is, I'm willing to do that. Okay. Before we do that, were there any other questions that anybody had? Okay. So if we were to look at this, and again, I don't know what voice parts you have and your rhythms might be a little different, but let's go ahead and just look at a little bit of this.
Okay.
So looking at the beginning at letter A, this would be the sopranos, right? So you'd have Ulietaj na kryliach wietra. Ulietaj na krylia wietra. Okay. Twiv kraj rodnaya piesnia nasza. I'm not gonna be able to sing all of this. But does that give you an
No,
idea?
that's great. Yeah, thank you so much.
And then you have Tuda gdzie mój ciebie swobodna pieli, gdzie bila tak привольна нам с тобою.
Gorgeous.
So,
Pretty,
I'm
so
actually a
thank
high
you.
soprano, but I've been singing the part of Frederick for my opera rehearsal. So,
Julie, so
Yes.
it's Stranger in Paradise.
it is Stranger in
Yeah.
Paradise. Yes,
Mhm. Okay.
absolutely. That's the melody, the ripoff for Kismet.
That's great. It's pretty lyrical when you
It
when you
is.
start singing it. Yeah.
It does become so much easier to do.
Yeah.
It really
Mm.
does. And there are 2 YouTube videos, like I said, with people reading it, but boy, when you start to listen to the music and try to sing along with it, get that melody, and you just like you would sustain your vowels in any language, and then bunch the consonants up. There's just those words where you've got 3 or 4 consonants clustered together that we're not used to doing.
Now I must have missed. Did you give us links to a YouTube? Because that would be
I sent those to Christina. Let me see if I can put those in, if I can get my hands on them quickly.
okay. Maybe I missed that. I'll look at her.
Well, I don't
later.
think that she's copied them to you yet, but let me see if I
Okay.
can get my, here we go. Okay, I've got them right here. So I'm going to put them in the chat, and then they should be
Marvelous.
on
Thank
the
you.
recording. You bet. It's been a while since I've forgotten how to do this. I remembered how to do this. So these are a couple that I found of native speakers. Did they both copy? Sorry for all those who are going to watch this and go, oh, she's talking to herself. Yes, I do that. Copy. I'm not sure they both did, so I'm just going to do this again. And like I said, Christina also has these. Yeah. All right. So those are some native speakers that obviously they were reading it for some choir. And I found their YouTube.
Thank you.
You bet.
Great. Appreciate it.
As far as I wouldn't be able to sing through all of this with you guys, but hopefully that helps a little bit on how to make it lyrical. Okay. Anybody that
Perfect.
wants
Very helpful. Thanks.
Okay, you bet. Anybody that wants to read for me? Nope, we're good then. I think, Nick, you can stop the recording. Thank you very much, guys. You were very attentive, and thanks for helping.